The rain was coming down in sheets, a relentless cold barrage that soaked through my jacket and chilled me to the bone. It was one of those nights where the city seemed to weep, every streetlight a blurry tear in the darkness. I was just another gig worker, another face in the crowd, trying to make ends meet by delivering groceries. My phone buzzed, another order, another address, another race against the clock. This delivery was to the outskirts of town, a place I didn't know well. The GPS led me down a winding, dimly lit street to an old, modest house with a small porch light fighting bravely against the storm. I grabbed the 2 heavy bags of groceries, my fingers numb and clumsy. The paper bags were already starting to feel damp and fragile. I hurried up the walkway, my boots squelching in the puddles. I rang the doorbell, shifting the weight of the bags, just wanting to get this over with and head to my next pickup. The door creaked open, and a small elderly woman with kind wrinkled eyes peered out. Her hair was a soft cloud of white, and she wore a faded, floral housecoat. She looked at me, drenched and shivering, and then at the soggy grocery bags. A look of concern washed over her face. "Oh, you poor dear," she said, her voice soft and warm like a well-loved blanket. Come in out of that dreadful weather." I hesitated. "We're not supposed to go inside. Company policy." "It's okay, ma'am," I stammered, trying to hand her the bags. "I just need to drop these off." But the bottom of one bag, weakened by the rain, chose that exact moment to give way. A carton of eggs, a jar of pickles, and a can of soup tumbled out, the eggs making a sad, splattering sound on her welcome mat. I groaned. This was just perfect. The end of a long, miserable day. "Oh, don't you worry about that one bit," she said, her voice firm but gentle. She pushed the door open wider. "I'm not letting you go back out in that storm looking like a drowned cat. Now, get in here." Something in her tone left no room for argument. I stepped inside, dripping all over her entryway. The house was filled with the smell of cinnamon and baked apples. It was warm, impossibly warm and cozy. An old golden retriever lifted his head from a rug by the fireplace, gave a lazy thump of his tail, and went back to sleep. "My name is Eleanor," she said, taking the remaining bag from my numb hands. "And you are freezing." "Stay here," she smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that seemed to light up the whole room. "I'll keep you warm." Before I could protest again, she disappeared into another room and came back with a thick, fluffy towel and a man's oversized sweatshirt. "It was my husband's," she explained softly. "He would have insisted." "Go on, dry yourself off. You can change in the bathroom down the hall." I felt a lump form in my throat. I was a stranger, just a delivery guy. People usually just grab their bags and shut the door, sometimes without even a thank you. But here was this woman, Eleanor, treating me like family. I did as she said, and the dry, warm sweatshirt felt like the most luxurious thing I'd ever worn. When I came out, she was in the kitchen, carefully cleaning the salvaged groceries. She'd already mopped up the mess at the door. A steaming mug was waiting for me on the small kitchen table. "It's hot apple cider," she said, with a cinnamon stick. My husband's favorite on a rainy night. I sat down, wrapping my cold hands around the mug. The warmth spread through my fingers, up my arms, chasing away the chill. We sat in a comfortable silence for a moment, the only sounds the patter of rain against the windows and the crackling of the fire in the other room. "It's a tough night to be out working," she said finally, her gaze gentle. "Yeah," I replied, my voice a little hoarse. "It's been a long one." I told her a little about my day, about the endless deliveries, the traffic, the feeling of being invisible. I hadn't planned on it, but she was so easy to talk to. She listened patiently, nodding, her expression full of empathy. Then, she started telling me about her husband, Arthur. He'd been a mailman for 40 years, walking his route in every kind of weather. He always said the weather never bothered him, she recalled with a fond smile. He said what mattered were the people. He knew everyone on his route. He'd bring dog biscuits for the dogs, check in on the elderly folks, and always had a piece of candy for the kids. He believed that no matter what your job was, you had a chance to bring a little bit of light into someone's day. She looked at me, her eyes twinkling. He would have liked you. He always had a soft spot for people who worked hard. As she spoke, I looked around her small, tidy home. The walls were covered in framed photos, a young couple laughing, a family on vacation, grandchildren with gap-toothed grins. It was a house filled with love and memories, a life well lived. Suddenly my phone buzzed again. Another order. Reality came crashing back in. I had to go. I looked at the time and realized I'd been there for almost an hour. I have to get going, I said reluctantly, standing up. Thank you so much, Eleanor. For everything. Nonsense, she said, waving her hand. It was the least I could do. Arthur would have never forgiven me if I let you go on your way like that. She walked me to the door. The rain has softened to a gentle drizzle. As I was about to leave, she placed a small brown paper bag in my hand. It was warm. A little something for the road, she said. Apple cinnamon muffins. Fresh from the oven this afternoon. I looked from the bag to her kind face, and I felt overwhelmed. It wasn't just about the warmth, the cider, or the muffins. It was her kindness. In a world that often feels rushed and indifferent, she has stopped. She has seen me, not just a delivery driver, but a person. I don't know what to say, I stammered. She just smiled that incredible smile again. You don't have to say anything. Just be safe out there. And maybe when you can, pass the kindness on. Driving away from her house, with the warmth of the muffin in my hand and the scent of cinnamon filling my car, something inside me had shifted. The rain didn't seem so cold anymore. The city lights looked less like tears and more like little sparks of hope. I wasn't just delivering groceries. I was part of a chain. A chain of people, of small interactions, of simple kindness that holds the world together. Eleanor's simple act of compassion did more than just warm me up on a rainy night. It reminded me of something I had forgotten, the profound power we all have to make a difference in someone else's life. Even with the smallest gesture, she wasn't trying to change the world. She was just trying to help one person in front of her. But in doing so, she changed my world. That night, I wasn't just a gig worker anymore. I was a link in the chain, carrying a little bit of light, just like Arthur the mailman. And I knew with absolute certainty that I would pass it on, because that's how we keep each other warm. Thank you so much for watching and for letting me share this story with you. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more stories that remind us of the good in the world. Stay safe and be kind to one another.